You're live, Chair.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to this North West Area Planning meeting, today the 6th of November 2024. My name is Councillor Maddie Thompson and I'm the chairman of this committee. Members, we're streaming this meeting live as well as recording, and by being present in the meeting you are giving your consent to being recorded. During each item, please put up your hand to indicate if you wish to speak. I will then invite you to at the appropriate time. Could I ask members to avoid approaching the top table, as this can create interference with the cameras and live stream. Please note that the YouTube live stream sound recording is dependent on the correct use of microphones. Therefore, can I ask that when invited to speak, you remember to turn on your microphone and turn it off when finished. Please reference a page or paragraph number when referring to the agenda papers and keep your contributions as clear and concise as possible. We do not have any fire alarm testing scheduled for today. If you hear the alarm, please exit using either of the two marked fire escape routes. Once out of the building, please proceed to the designated muster point located on the grass verge by the police station entrance. Members, there is no members update this evening. Apologies for absence, please, Mr. Jones.
Good evening, Chair. We have received apologies from Councillors Morgan, Stevens, White and Whiffen. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Right, minutes. It's recommended that the minutes of the meeting held on 11th of September are approved as a true and accurate record. I shall take them as read and I so propose. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Durham. I've got your name for a minute there. Terribly sorry. This is going well. Right, does anyone have any matters of accuracy? Right, so can we agree those by assent, members? Lovely, thank you. Item 4 is declarations of interest, to disclose the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interests and non-registrable interests relating to items of business on the agenda having regard to paragraph 9 and appendix B of the Code of Conduct for members.
Chairman, thank you. Well, firstly, I apologise for dragging everybody out for just one agenda item tonight. I hope it'll be quick. I have a pecuniary interest in this item as I was the agent, so I will leave and probably not come back, if that's all right. Thank you.
Ever? Okay. Thank you for that, Councillor. And members are reminded they're also required to disclose any such interests if they become aware during the meeting. So we have item 5, which is the Warren Lodge Park, Herbage Park, Woodham, Walter, being presented by Mr. Johnson here in the chamber.
Thank you, Chairman. This application concerns the Warren Lodge Park, Herbage Park Road, Woodham Walters, CM96RJ. The application proposes the variation of condition 5 on approved planning permission 15-00590/FUL. The application is one of a number of variations of various applications going back to the original application back in 2005. So the application concerns the addition of shed structures to the existing lodges. So start with the location plan, and we can see the site outline in, apologies for that, site outlined in red here, and here we just have the sort of Google Earth images. We can see the sort of internal sort of road network. All existing structures, as we see, will be unchanged by this proposal. And just to give a little background again to the context, so the access to the holiday lodges is via Herbage Park Road, which forms the southern boundary of the application site. There is woodland planting to the south and west of the site. Let's go back now. And to the north of the site is a dense area of woodland, which has a public right-of-way running through it. In addition to the holiday lodges, you can see these buildings down here, the little buildings here. The site contains an amenity building containing a swimming pool and gym. So the proposal relates to 74 of the holiday lodges, and members may recall that planning permission has already been granted for a shed to be provided for 48 of the holiday lodges. The application seeks to vary a condition to enable a single shed to be provided for each holiday lodge. It is proposed that these outbuildings will be no greater than 2.5 meters in height, 4 meters in length, and not sited greater than 4 meters from each lodge. The majority of the units have already erected such an outbuilding, and thus the application is part retrospective. So we can see examples of some of the sheds that exist on the site. I mean, in the report, it makes reference to the fact that while there may have been some concerns expressed about maybe a more sort of eclectic approach towards this development, we can see that the variation actually are pretty consistent with the lodges that exist. And in officers' view, the variation is quite acceptable. And we've got some photographs showing the sheds within the wider site. So we can see some of the context here, which gives us the scale of the sheds respective to the lodges themselves. Over here as well, you can see a couple of sheds here, and we can see that they're clearly subordinate to the sheds and quite appropriate in their context. So summary and recommendation, which you would have read previously. The principle of development is acceptable. The variation would allow the provision of one number small outbuilding to each lodge, which would support the existing tourism use and as such is in compliance with local plan policies. There'd be no harm to the wider character. The structures would not appear unduly prominent from within the site, as we just saw with the photographs, or from any public views, including Herbage Park Road, or from the public right-of-way. There's clearly no impact on neighbour amenity, given the clear distance. This is a contained site. Landscape and ecology matters are acceptable. No harmful impacts in regard to flood risk and drainage. Development in accordance with policies, and as such is recommended for permission. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Right, so we have one speaker in accordance with our public participation. That is, in fact, Councillor Durham. Do we have the timer, Mr. Johnson?
Right, this is a bit
I think you want end show.
yeah, I'm sure it's, yeah. Right,
And then
I
on the
think it's
bottom,
this
that's
one.
the one.
Yep, that's it.
There we go. So, as you already know, you have 2 minutes from when you begin to speak.
I do. Thank you very much, Chairman, members. This is actually a technicality. The original objective was because the whole park has a caravan park licence, and the terms of that licence allow sheds. So there was a discrepancy with its licence and its planning permission. So the sheds are needed to store out of season paraphernalia, etc., etc. And the reason that this was separate from the previous application is because the lodges were granted over 3 individual planning applications, and this covers the first 2, but after the second one there was a variation to change the occupancy, and because those 2 had been previously varied, that's why this so we are basically varying a varied application, and that is why unfortunately we had to come back for a second look. So And obviously, members, it was granted previously, so there is no real reason why these shouldn't be regularised so that the site licence and its planning consent are commensurate. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will give you a moment to...
I'll go outside.
reach- Okey doke. I do have a quick question from Mr Johnson, which is we've very recently looked at the twin application to this one. That is presumably now a material consideration when we look at this one.
That is correct, Chair.
Thank you. And members, any questions? Any proposals?
Yes, I propose that we accept the
Seconded.
And that's seconded. Oh, got the timer. Right, so we have a proposal duly seconded. May we take a vote on that? Show of hands, please. Those in favour of the officer's recommendation, thank you very much. That's unanimous. You can come back, Councillor Darrow.
Sorry, excuse me, Chair. I didn't hear that because the microphones weren't on.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was
the proposal from Councillor Hughes.
That was Councillor Hughes proposed the officer's recommendation. That was seconded by Councillor Siddle. The vote was unanimous in favour of the officer's recommendation. So that completes item 5, which is passed in line with the conditions and so on in the officer's report. There is no urgent business that I've decided we need to hear. So with thanks to officers and members of the public, I close the meeting at 7:38.
41.